We're dueling and burning over here on World of Dance Season 3, Episode 6, Round 3 of Duels.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome on into AfterBuzz TV. It is World of Dance Season 3, and we are in the third round of Duels. I'm Kristen Burt. We are so excited you are joining us tonight. It is a smaller panel tonight, and we're calling it the Battle of the Blondes.
That's right. We're ready to burn it out, you know? This is exciting.
Teague, how are you doing?
I'm so good.
We missed you last week.
I was really sad I wasn't here, but I am excited to dive into the convo tonight.
We have a lot to say. We were watching this, and I was like, I'm not sure. Hey, I don't know. This is a weird matchup. So there were a lot of interesting dynamics, I think, going on in this particular round.
There's a lot going on this show right now. I think there's we're just testing stuff. We're seeing what sticks on the wall, and some of it's not sticking. So I'm not sure.
How are you feeling? Because I think we're about halfway through the season. I believe the season finale is, just so everyone knows, is March 12th.
Okay.
So how are you feeling about halfway through the season at this point?
I feel I like the talent's great. I think some of the production decisions are making me not. The redemption round still isn't this was less cringy than week one for me this week, but there's a few kinks I believe we need to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do appreciate that the producers of the show are constantly trying to improve things, make things better, keep it exciting, so we don't have the same old, which I felt like with Dancing with the Stars, I felt like we've been getting the same old for a really long time, and it burnt the show out, and now we're down to one season a year. So I appreciate that World of Dance is tweaking things a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Not everything always works, or maybe they'll do something better based off of the redemption round for season 4. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Let's get into those duels. We are in the junior division tonight, so that means it is anywhere from a soloist all the way up to 4 people in this particular division. We already did the junior team last week. So the first duel of the night was Ellie and Ava versus Audrey and Mia. So this was kind of a girl-girl matchup. This was kind of interesting.
Right. Also, just before we move forward, Jassy, you're the bomb.com. I think April 12th, right? Instead of March 12th?
May 12th.
May 12th.
May 12th should be the season finale.
May 12th season finale. Okay.
May 12th.
All right. We're cool. So yeah, I think that this was great. I think that the thing that has gotten me about the episodes progressing, these burns, this idea of the burn. I don't know. I know we'll dive into it a little bit later, but this was one of the first matchups that we saw. And I almost felt a little bit like, I don't like. It's just uncharacteristic of dancers to technically burn each other. I mean, it just really doesn't happen. Especially, I don't know, maybe it does now, but when I was growing up competing, you just want to do your best. And it was great, if you're up against someone but you were never digging at them. And I think that
it does happen in hip hop though.
Well, yeah.
In a battle. In a battle round, it would.
I don't know. It makes me feel a little bit upset because it's just, I don't feel like dancers act like that. And I don't know if it's the producers nudging them to say, hey, get a little, make it a little bit dramatic. And that's cool, but I don't know.
It does feel amped up this season.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've noticed, we didn't use the lingo burns in season 1 and 2.
Right.
And now burns is used in every single package in this particular round, which is interesting. So it is clearly an initiative or some sort of agenda with the show and kind of utilizing that. But I feel like we need to take a half step back on this.
Right. Because I think there's a difference between burning, and offending someone, or just playfully, I want to beat you. I don't know. And the line is very blurry, and then you can look a little bit ungrateful, or I don't know. A little bit cringy for me.
And we've had Derek step in. He stepped in a little bit last week. He stepped in with another group this week. And again, even if it's hyped for TV, it still looks a little bit okay, chill out, everyone. Yeah. We don't need it.
Yeah,
exactly. You guys all love each other.
But Ellie and Ava, I think, were really great. Stunning tricks, flexibility, the tumbling, their techniques, insane. And I was really, really impressed with them overall. What do you think?
Yeah, Ellie and Ava, again, if you don't remember, they are out of Larkin Dance Studio, Minnesota. So we know these
Larkin.
this is probably why Eva Igo was also in the audience, everyone. Cute. Larkin Dance Studio, good supporting her friends. Of course, that's also where Taylor Steve from So You Think You Can Dance came from. Gorgeous lines. I felt that they were stronger this round than they were for the qualifiers. I saw some really nice improvements in the choreography. but this was another one of those matchups that I was like, okay, we're going up against Crumpers. So,
Right.
you know, it was an interesting choice for them to choose Audrey and Mia, and strategically, it worked out for them. But sometimes I feel like, how am I looking at a contemporary routine versus a Crump routine? And I felt like Audrey and Mia stepped up from their qualifying routine as well, took some great notes, hit it a lot harder. They were a lot stronger. But then again, it is that when you're looking at it and you're like, it's apples to oranges.
Right.
Or I think you said apples to bread.
Yeah, straight up apples to bread. Doesn't really, it's hard to compare.
It really is. Because if I'm looking at a gorgeous, long contemporary line and these girls have strong technique, but that's not to say that Audrey and Mia are not trained, because they do have technique, and they also have crumping technique, which is completely different than contemporary.
Right, exactly. I would have even liked to see them maybe up against like Trilogy, or I just feel like
How about them against Funknamatree?
Oh.
That would have been interesting to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Audrey and Mia for
versus-
sure.
yeah.
Funknamatree. That would be a great
Yes.
matchup. Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, but even I'm sorry, I was referring to Ellie and Ava up against Trilogy. Would be
Fair
a little
enough.
bit more of a fair. It is hard to look at those and compare. But I think Audrey and Mia did great.
They did great.
They did great.
And they will be on my show, by the way. On To The Point on, let me look at the date on this a minute, because I'm like, I don't know the dates anymore. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. Hold on. Let me find my calendar. April. They're coming up on Tuesday, April 9th. So pretty
April
soon.
9th. Great.
Yep, Tuesday, April 9th.
That'll
So
be fun.
going to get a little inside scoop from them. They're 14, both of them. I didn't realize they were that
my.
young. So they got
Babies.
babies, and they've got a great career ahead of them. We're not
Yeah,
worried about them. So
for
let's
sure.
talk about those scores. These are always interesting, because this one was pretty darn close in this matchup, a little closer than I thought it would have been. So Neo gave Ellie and Ava a 90. J-Lo gave him a 92, and Derek gave him a 93. Their average was 91.7. We take a look at Audrey and Mia. Neo liked them just slightly better and gave them a 91. And then J-Lo went down to 89. Derek went down to 90. So their average was 90. We thought maybe they could squeak in the redemption round, but they were eventually eliminated from the show.
Right. Sad.
We'll get more scoop from them in a couple of weeks. So,
Yeah.
and hopefully, if they offer some insight, I can bring it on this show as well, and just let everyone know sort of like what they were feeling and the whole process of the entire duels, because I feel like there's a lot of different energy in season 3.
Of course. Well, and you look at a group like that, and you're happy that they were on the show because they represented very well. So
And we love female crumpers, because not enough getting recognition. I feel like a lot of people know Yaya from So You Think You Can Dance. She was on season 12, and of course she did America's Best Dance Crew, but we don't hear enough from female crumpers. So I'm glad we have a young generation leading the way as well.
Yes, that is great.
Okay, I think we're going to be talking about Kayla Mac a lot tonight.
Oh, man.
Yes, contemporary ballet dancer versus, Funknamatree. Now, World of Dance had put this out last Friday as kind of like a sneak preview duel. And so I was watching the two of these. I did know the outcome because Kayla Mac was there the day I attended the cut taping, so I knew she made it through. But I did not see Funknamatree in the cut, which obviously they are going to the cut based on the way this duel came out.
Right.
So how do we feel on this one? This was another apples to bread analogy.
That is correct. It was absolutely apples to bread. It was maybe even like apples to shoe. It really didn't. It was very hard to compare these two.
Apples to shoe.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Kayla Mac is stunning. I would just like to say my jaw physically dropped when I saw that red triangle outfit. She's stunning. Like,
Her
even
body is beautiful.
her just standing there, I'm like, can you be like my background on my phone? I don't know. This is getting creepy, but I think she's amazing and stunning, and anything she does is great. I do think she was a bit shaky. She looked a little bit nervous, which
Yep.
J-Lo did point out. But her extensions, I mean, everything is amazing. I do think, and we were kind of talking about it, I think her first routine might have been a bit stronger. And I don't know if it was the music choice, if it was maybe there's more pressure now because she is moving forward. So it didn't fall flat. It just like fell a little bit because she was so perfect in round
I felt
one.
like the choreography was a little choppy in this particular piece because she knew she was going up against Funknamatree, and I think she, wanted to add some little tricks, and I think the transitions kind of escaped her, and obviously her footing was kind of escaping her, probably based off of nerves, where I felt, and they criticized saying there was not enough musicality in the first round, and I totally disagreed with how they scored her in the first round. I thought she should have been much, much higher.
Right. Well, and here's the thing about like adding notes, and I think it's great. I think but when you're adding notes based on who you're competing against, like you're adding hip hop because you know you're going, that's where I'm like, I don't think we need to do that personally. I know that if you do it and you do it well, it's impressive, but if you do it and it's not your forte, it just brings the routine down. I'm not saying that's what happened with her, but I think that that's a theme that people struggle with on this show, because it's like, you wanna like, I want to put a little hip hop in my ballet dance, but like maybe you shouldn't. You know, maybe you should just keep it authentically.
I know
you.
that's,
you know,
and the Tappers added some. We're seeing this happening, and I'm like, oh, this is where the lines are blurring a little bit. So I think it's definitely something that we're going to have to sort of analyze once we get to some of the final rounds and seeing, is this working,
right?
Or is this just something that they're adding for the duels because they know that they're going against apples to shoes.
Yeah.
And then Funknamatree, listen, I love this duo. I have to say that little guy in Funknamatree.
Oh, so cute.
So fun. So much personality. I thought that they did step it up for this round too, and I think that's why it was way closer than anybody expected.
Yeah, and their personalities came through in this dance, and I was just as impressed with them as the judges were. I think that they proved themselves. The ballet shoes at the end made me laugh out loud.
It was good. That was a good burn. Like, that's an example of where I'm like, fun.
And that's nice.
Works for them.
Yeah, and it's cute, and it's kitschy, and it's fun. But like, yeah, like the stuff where we're like, that's where I'm like, I don't know if we need it so aggressive. But they were very cute, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because like I just have to. I don't have to, but is the little one maybe is he a little bit stronger?
I think if you look at the two of them, your eyes are drawn to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know what that is, but overall, this routine was great. I was really impressed.
Yeah, and let's talk about the scores in this one, because this one was kind of interesting. So Kayla, 90, 90, 93. So that's Neo, J-Lo, Derek. And then when you look at Funknamatree, you have Neo giving them a 92. You have J-Lo giving them a 91. Derek went down. He was the only one that went down by a point and gave them a 92. So Funknamatree averaged 91.7, and she got a 91. And, you know, I think, see, if I had seen her first routine in the duels, I would have scored her higher. But I think just that slight little technical, probably nerves kind of thing where you started seeing her feet shuffling a little bit, it was probably that, 0.7 of a tenth kind of like knocking her down a little bit.
So we have Jessie in the chat who was saying that she wasn't a fan of the Millie Rock. Kayla, remember she did the Millie Rock?
Yep.
What did you think?
No, see, that doesn't, she is contemporary ballet. She's not doing classical ballet, so she can throw some things in there.
Did it work for you?
No, I don't think the routine overall worked for me in comparison to what I had seen from her in the first round. So I just think overall that the choreography was not my favorite. So, and I want to say something because on Tuesday on To The Point, I have Allison Stroming, who is amazing ballet dancer, has danced with Dance Theater of Harlem. She is a mentor to Kayla Mac. So if you guys want to come and watch the show, it's 3 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. It's always archived as well on Popcorn Talk, but you'll be able to really get some insight that Allison will be able to tell us about Kayla. So I'm kind of excited about that.
I am excited to hear that. Yeah, that's great.
I'll bring it back to the show too. But if you want to watch the hour with Allison, that should be really fun.
That's great.
All right, here we go. And we have this next. This was like the boys. It's like we had the battle of the women, the young women, and now we have the battle of the young men. And we have Moving Forward versus, how do I pronounce his name? Aiden. It's Aiden Akon.
Yeah.
Aiden Akon. It's opposite of how it's all spelled. Aiden Akon. And so Aiden is 15. The average age of Moving Forward about 16, 17. So they're just a little bit older. How did you feel this battle went? Because I think a lot of us, in my head, I'm thinking, I think Aiden will probably come out on top. And he didn't.
He didn't. So first of all, I'd just like to say I'm a big fan of the wolf. And anytime anybody does a wolf, the running, lunging, forward jump, I mean, it's like, okay, thank you so much for that. And it's always kind of like a jaw dropper. I like that one. And I think it was really greatly attacked. I feel like he maybe needed to be a bit more grounded, maybe, question mark there. And kind of sit into it more. Nerves, I feel like, definitely played in this episode. I think everybody was kind of like, and also I need to like rewind and see what shoes he was wearing. I think he was wearing like ballet slippers type, and I'm not envious of these dancers because that floor,
brutal.
I don't know what it feels like. We should have done that when we went there.
It does get hot. So what I've been told from the contemporary dancers is that because it's squares of LED, first of all, your skin, if you go barefoot, will catch occasionally in between each square, which is gross.
Yeah.
So they have to tape their feet or you have to wear a shoe. Sometimes, too, if the LED floor's been on for a while, it does get hot. So you're dealing with temperature, which then changes, and if your feet are sweating, that's one issue. If your feet are cold, that's another issue. You really have to kind of feel your way and figure out what works for you. Does a shoe work? Does taping work? You know, does a sock work? For some people, socks will work really well. So
yeah, I was wondering, because I don't know if he wore those the first round. I don't know. I mean, it's just a technical thing, but I was like, how just at that floor makes me nervous. But I think he did great, and you can tell a little bit that it's difficult. You know, it's not one of those routines where it's like, oh, couldn't tell.
He had a lot of tricks in his routine. And the one thing, and they were beautiful, and his lines are great. And I keep on saying, I'm like, give him a few more years of like that big growth spurt. He's going to be... He's already great. He's going to be spectacular.
I know.
As he grows into his like stronger body. But I was wondering in the choreography, what is the intention behind all of that movement? Because it was like trick, 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 trick. And I was like, give him a breath. Give him a breath because he can do this. And I think we'd get a little bit more emotion out of him with that breath.
For sure. And also I do think that I'm happy that he's on the show right now, but I kind of wish we would have seen him in 2 years. Just because I feel like he is right at where he's going to be, this growth spurt and this, you know, what you're talking about.
He's 15 right now, and he's a smaller 15. So I think that at 17, 18, he's going to be, watch out, people.
Yeah, insane.
Moving forward, I love that we've been able to see so many men dancing together or women dancing together. It was beautiful. It was moving. You could tell that they really were in sync in that moment. And whether it just clicked in and one of those perfect moments that sometimes happens on stage, or whether they'd been working on it, it happened at the right time.
Yeah, this was incredible. I cried because, you know, like I'm a crier, but that was insane. Those boys were so in tune with each other, and the choreography was great. The choreography I was really impressed with, the visuals, and I mean, I just thought it was a stunning routine overall, and they took notes. I loved it from start to finish.
Yeah, and they were out of Ontario, just in case anyone wants to know, Elite Dance Works. We were looking that up because we were like, wow, I really love this routine. Yeah. So let's look at the scores on this one. This was another, it was close, but, you know, I think it wound up in the right direction. So Aiden got 91, 89, and 91. So his average was 90.3. And then moving forward was 94, 93, 92. All judges across the board agreed and gave them the higher score. They averaged 93. Moving on to the cut.
Wait, Kristyn, we didn't talk about it. The burn, the contemporary burn. It was like, ooh. It was like... we were laughing out loud.
I told her, I was like, okay, it's just the two of us tonight because Princess and AJ are out. And I thought... Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom to you.
But it's not like a real burn. It's like a slow burn, you know?
Slow burn.
I was laughing. That was so cute.
We need a boomerang of the slow burn.
Slow burn.
I forgot all about that.
You can't forget about those burns.
Can't forget about those burns. Julian and Charlize were the next duel versus the Trilogy. This was great. I thought they both did great. And I honestly, coming out of it, the Trilogy, I felt like was underscored on this one because I felt like matchup-wise, even though the energy was completely different, you know, Julian and Charlize came out and they hit it really hard. And I thought, wow, this was and next level from qualifiers. And they did great in qualifiers, but they really brought it here. That slow-mo section.
Yeah.
They were hitting it really hard. Slow-mo section. And then all of a sudden her extension. And you're this is what we want to see. This is perfect.
Yeah, I know. And that axle jump crazy thing that the two guys did going backward, I was like, what was that? I thought this was a really stunning routine, and I agree with you. I was really upset about the way that this was scored, A, and B, that they're gone now. I'm sad.
Yeah, and I think for Trilogy too, they should be really proud of what they put out there on the stage. It was a really nice improvement from qualifiers. I thought it was pretty. I thought it was a great use too, because we haven't seen a lot of trios on World of Dance in the past 3 seasons. Great use of the 2 men interacting with the young woman.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful choreography on that.
I know. I'm bummed. This was a head scratcher for me. I was confused by that one.
Were you confused by their score? Because
I was confused by
you
their
thought
score.
Julian and Charlize did a great job.
Oh, of course. Yes,
okay.
yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
No. That's not the confusion. I definitely know Julian and Charlize were definitely supposed to go through. And that I agree with that. I'm on board. But I would have liked to see Trilogy in the redemption round.
This is a big note because I feel like all of our trios are pretty much getting knocked out really quickly here. If you decide to audition for season 4, people, think about a trio, because I feel like, again, it's not a configuration that's been explored as much on World of Dance in comparison to duos and soloists and big, huge groups. So I'm just going to let you guys know, think about 3 or 4, because I think it's a really good combination. And choreography-wise, you can create different levels. So that's my tip to you.
Yeah. I think that's a great note.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're not a manager for these people yet. I don't understand, actually. You know how easy that would be for you to do? Can you do that as a side hustle?
I don't know.
You should do that. We're going to talk about it.
Okay, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to be a dance manager.
You should be. I don't know why.
I'll be booking acts everywhere.
Yeah, literally. Like, I think that's great. But
there were some really high scores for Julian and Charlize. I think some of the highest we've seen in this particular round. 96, 96, and 94. Spectacular. 95.3 was their average. The Trilogy, this is where I felt like underscore 89, 90, and 91. So they averaged a 90, knocking them out of the competition.
that's a shame.
I was not.
For me.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed about that.
Me too.
Julian and Charlize will be on my show, guys, in April.
Yay!
Yes, I'm super
good.
excited. Not until later in the month. So as we get closer, I will announce that particular date.
Love that.
I do too. I'm excited for them. And then we get to the final duel of the night. We'll still talk about the redemption round, of course, but that's Lauren Yakima versus House of Tap. And, right away, when you put contemporary versus tap, I kind of think, I know how this is going to play out, because I know how the show has treated tap. Although, in the upper division, we do know that a tap, the D'Angelo brothers did make it through. So thumbs up to that. But Lauren Yakima, I thought she was fantastic. Her strength is amazing. I love her personality. That lean back that she did and hovered there for a second or two. I was all over it.
I was all over it. You know I'm going to just be Simon for 1 second, you guys.
Do it. Simon Cowell, go.
Did you love the song, ? Everybody? I don't know. I just feel like it was like a little bit here for me.
It plateaued.
It plateaued a bit. It didn't really ever get to that high point. And she has so many incredible moves, and she could have done with what she did. I just think the song wasn't my favorite, but she's insane. Her talent is undeniable,
and this is what I think too.
Yeah,
she's so powerful. If she shows up in the cut, I want to see something soft and pretty.
Really?
Yes.
But that's so not her brand.
But she can still do strong. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good call.
You can do something a little bit more emotional and soft, but still have an inner strength.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she's got that foundation. She's got that strong athlete body. She's good.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. And maybe see her in like a lighter outfit, like a airy...
Something flowy.
I'm just all about the outfits and the vibe.
But it does, because oftentimes in contemporary we are seeing like the leotard and that's it, So she could kind of change it up, do something a little bit more flowy. It doesn't have to be a dress, but it could be something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Mix it
interesting.
up.
Yeah. But I was incredibly impressed with her. I loved the beginning. That it was like she was already wowing us before the music basically started. She's undeniable. Great movement. That turn and then the jump. It was actually like there was a cutaway right before that, and I was like, I needed to see that whole thing play out.
Yes, when we've talked about that, do you know?
Yeah.
We thought this. You will get this because you know your sports. You know how oftentimes you see the game and now they're showing the commercials in the little side panel right there. That's what I need from the judges. I need the full dance on screen, and you can give me judges' reactions in the little side panel.
That's a good call.
It's a good call, I think.
Yeah, because you do miss some integral moments, but the tricks she does are very different and they're unique, and that's why she's really good on the show, because that's what you need to stay in the competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
House of Tap, and I want to call out because this was something last week we talked about a lot. They kept on going, they're choreographer or just choreographers. Guess what? They have a name. and this is why I appreciate So You Think You Can Dance. They always tell us who the choreographers are. They are just as important as the dancers themselves.
Not more important, but they are very important.
It's a team effort. Let's put it that way. So it's Kaylee and Kelsey Carr, and Derek Hough has worked with them before on tap. So he's very familiar with their work. They are incredible tappers. They were the choreographers for House of Tap. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things I thought that House of Tap brought in this particular round was that a cappella section.
Yeah. And thank you, because that's what we needed to see. And that's what we've all been kind of, hey, just to impress Neo, give us an a cappella section. And I think that they pulled that off very well. I wasn't a huge fan of like the hip hop vibe and like it was cute. I just feel like just stick with what you know. But I do think they pulled it off, and
the judges were asking for it, and I think that's the
so
they feel the pressure to bring it in.
I guess
I know. I don't think they need it. I think the a cappella section enough was the wow.
Of course, yeah,
because they nailed it too.
They do. They did. Oh my god. Yeah, I was incredibly impressed, and the a cappella I did like a lot. That was good.
So I thought that they did a great job in this particular round. They were not going to hit Lauren's scores because Lauren's scores were so huge. 97, 95, 96. So her average was 96, 92, 89. Hey, J-Lo, she gave me an 89. And then a 93 from Derek, 91.3. But that was enough to propel them into the redemption round. And the redemption round, one thing I wanted to say, I was like, of course, it's ballet versus tap. The two styles that I always feel like get brushed aside on this show.
Right, of course. Yeah. This redemption round was interesting.
It was very interesting. So it was Kayla Mac versus House of Tap. And I felt like right away that after watching it, I felt like I knew right away. I was like, Kayla's got it. She just nailed it.
Well, yeah. And I the only reason I do like the redemption round because in all of the redemption rounds we've seen, the soloists like step up and like go through the roof. Like who was week one? Our adorable blonde girl.
Briar.
That
Nolay.
was like insane.
Yeah.
And I think we saw the same thing with Kayla tonight. It was just like through the roof and better maybe than her routine tonight.
I think so.
Although I will say the tap having to do that with the same song is hard because it's like that feels like it's different than a improv soloist but we need to know timelines.
Okay, so
when did you get the song?
I have a little bit of a timeline. So,
okay.
And I want to first of all call out Christina Moon, who sent me the video. First, yes, about 10 of you sent it to me in my DMs last week because we asked anyone, did you guys have any information? Unity LA has been doing live chats on Instagram each and every week, and someone asked them the question and they responded. So after the qualifiers, immediately after the qualifiers is when the duels are set up.
Okay.
And they are given, in addition to finding out who they're going to be dueling, they are given 2 songs for the redemption round. Every single act is given 2 songs, and you choose one of them. Now, what we've seen in every single round is that everyone's choosing the same song. I want to find out, this is kind of like the next level of like sleuthing around. Did people choose different songs and then they just threw on one song because they had music clearance for it?
Yeah.
And that's just what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that, I have a feeling personally that people did choose one of the 2 songs, but that they threw one song up and just blanketed it over the video.
Really?
That's watch you guys go back and watch Kayla versus House of Tap. I feel like they danced to two different songs.
Really?
Just watch it. Yeah.
Wow. Now that would be
That would be interesting.
I would be upset if I were the dancers.
If anybody knows the outcome of that or knows that next level, I'm going to be asking around again. But everybody who moved onto the duels did have to create 2 routines. They had to create their duels routine and then a possible redemption round routine. So they had about a week, depending on what was happening on the production schedule, a week and a half, somewhere around there.
Oh, interesting.
So that was the update. So thank you to UniLA. Thank you to Christina for that. Let's get to that redemption round. So listen, I mean, I feel like House of Tap should feel really good because Tap doesn't get enough representation on the show. They did a great job in the duels, and I hope to see more Tap. That's all. I mean, I just always feel, and I want to see more ballet too. But we eliminated a style right here, but we're going to see Tap again with the D'Angelo brothers. So
correct. Yes, we have we have stuff to look forward to.
We have stuff to look forward to, of course. Yes. So we talked a little bit about the burns this week. Another thing that we've been kind of talking about as the weeks go is about some of the other international versions of World of Dance. And I believe it was last night, it's hard because they're a day ahead, but World of Dance Philippines has announced who the world finals are. And of course, Luca and Jenna Lynn from season 1 and 2 are in the world final for World of Dance Philippines.
Love that.
Now, 2 things are happening that I think are really interesting. World of Dance Philippines is doing a live finale. Something we don't get to see. Ooh. So they taped every single week until that world final, which will be live. They are also adding an audience vote just for the world final. That's cool. I'm hoping that maybe this is a test run. They're test running it in the Philippines, and maybe they'll bring it to season 4 here. Wouldn't that be smart? Great?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great because as you watch, you kind of know it's all happened.
Yep.
So it would be cool to have that thing. And that's interesting.
Yeah, and maybe you know who makes it all the way to the world final, but you certainly won't know who wins. So, because sometimes people find out on the internet and things like that. And Luca and Jenna Lynn are, so they are in the Philippines right now. I'm going to be talking with them tomorrow, so I'll have a little bit more update on what their situation is. But if they do win, you guys, it gives them an opportunity to compete on World of Dance US. Good. So they would be back for season 4, which is crazy.
That is interesting.
It will be an interesting dynamic if they do win that. So, and they've had a great run. They've added a lot more dance to their cabaret act, so we'll see how it goes.
Wow.
Ballroom cabaret, taking the next level. So, yeah. Just wanted to share that with everyone.
That's great. I love that.
Anything else we need to address in the chat room today?
We just want to thank you guys for being in there. You guys are our favorite humans. You know that. Jassy Jones, Chelsea90. And we've got some other people in here too, I think. Oh, Palmdale Adonis. You was cute. You guys are really great watcher carders in here too. We just want to thank you guys for always being in there. You guys are really great.
And you guys don't forget we have a lot of things happening here at AfterBuzz. So Tiege, tell us about it.
That's correct. Yeah, really quick. Before we wrap up, we just wanted to say thank you for making us. Here we go. The ESPN of TV Talk. You guys have heard this, but it's coming at you one more time. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate that. You guys are great. Subscribe. If you're on iTunes, give us that 5-star because that's fun. No matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. That is kind of one of the most fun things I think about doing this whole thing is being able to interact with people during the week, and it's always fun.
We love commenting back.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's my favorite thing to do. And being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to all of us, and we truly do appreciate you guys supporting us in doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying the shows. You guys are great. We tell you, but you need to know. You need to hear it all the time.
And of course, we will be back next week with a full panel. Princess and AJ will be back. And I always love hearing their opinions. And it will be the final round of the duels before we move into the cut. And the cut is basically where everyone gets wiped out, Only the select few make it into that divisional final. So it's going to be brutal. It's
lots of burns. It's probably going to be like a big bonfire of burns.
One big bonfire of burns. Man. I love it. All right, Tiege, for anyone who wants to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Yes, on the socials, I am at TiegeDP, TIEGEDP. So I'll see you there.
All right, and I'm at Kristen Bird on Twitter, the Kristen Bird on Instagram. Don't forget, to the point, Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific time on Popcorn Talk. We'll see you all next week.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.